I want to get into topic number one. So topic number one is this: 101 reasons why Dan should buy Talon. So buckle up, guys. We're going to start with number one, go all the way to 101. I've got my list here. So we're going to go.
I was not briefed on this topic.
Intervention. Oh yeah. So everybody in the chat was like, you're like, I hope Dan shows up so we can get a live pre-order, and no pressure. So this is kind of a joke topic, but not really in a way, because, we did talk about this last night. Dan popped on for a little bit. So you've had about 24 hours, Dan. Have you considered, have you thought, have you, have we been mentally enabling you from a distance while you've been on business?
It is, Talon is sitting in my cart. One of my tabs here in Safari. I'm having a real hard time. We were talking a little bit in our private chat today about price fatigue, and I've got it, guys.
That's topic number two.
Sorry. So this is just Talon.
This is just Talon.
Okay, sorry. All right, sorry.
But save it for that, because we're going to talk about that too.
Okay, so the two for me right now are completely related. So I have not pulled the trigger yet. I have not pulled the trigger. The total all-in cost for me on that piece is over $1,700. And I'm like, it just makes me cringe. I love it, but he's awesome. There's no disputing it. He looks fantastic. Just being in the stream for a little bit with you guys last night and seeing, like this, all the close-ups that you're doing. I mean, he looks phenomenal. There's no disputing it. It's just a matter of prioritization. It's, we've talked about it so many times, but man, he looks incredible. He's going to be hard for me not to buy. But
I don't even think video does it. I mean, it's so much better in person. I know a lot of statues, it's always better in person, but this one really is like completely different in person compared to like video and pictures.
I got to be honest, I am nervous for you guys with that short peg.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that that's how he went into the base. I figured there would be a big chunk of rock connected to the foot.
I thought a rod all the way through. I was shocked when Eric told me the way it pegged in last night. I expected him to say, oh, this is a super long peg, and you can tell it goes all the way up. And when he said it only goes to his knee, and Chris said it's only a short peg into the base, I thought, wow, now granted, that's not why I'm hesitant. But
I'm going by the sound of the vibration. I mean, it sounded like it ended right where his knee is. I mean,
there is a different sound between the top and bottom of the leg.
Yeah.
So I had a few people reach out to me regarding, like, is he going to lean? You have him now. Do you think he's going to lean? And the same thing I was telling people, the fact that he is heavy, maybe all right. So maybe they did make him heavy, as long as they make the key area in the base, very thick around like, the walls and everything. We get an echo. Let's go.
That's right.
You're okay, Eric. You're okay.
Oh, I heard an echo. And as long as they make the leg entirely solid, then hopefully should be enough to hold everything in place. It's more when the things are hollow and that metal rod can move around a little bit and you get a little bit of shifting. So maybe that's one of the reasons why he is so heavy, and that could be a good sign that it's solid and it's not going to go anywhere.
It also has like this peg type of thing that slides in the back, so it's it's there to buffer it. So I do feel like this one will be fine. I feel like the ones that have leaned the worst are the ones that have the heavier capes, or something where it's pulling. So
yeah, but he's leaning. It's like it is pulling on him.
It's pulling.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that's a good point. I mean, I guess in 5 years, Dan will go, sucker.
Yeah.
You guys bought that damn thing.
It just makes me nervous because it's not talked about too loudly, but Prime One's had some problems lately with leaning.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about it. I mean, the thing is, like, it's difficult because their customer service is difficult because they're way far away from most of their buyers. So if I'm a buyer in the US and I contact them, they're not going to say send it back. They're going to say we'll offer you $80.
Right.
Which is BS, in my opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
Awful.
And in some cases it's been fine. Like it'll, but like I have had some replacement pieces sent to me directly from them.
Yep.
I specifically remember like the long wand on my death stroke. So I mean, so they have sent me replacement parts. They sent me the dome for Nora, for Mr. Freeze that broke. But when it comes to a whole statue replacement, it's just not happening. And so when you get a lien after 6 months, they're not going to take that back. They're not going to, you know, what are they going to do for you?
Well, it used to be more like we used to see liens coming from like other countries, like where it's more humid, and you know they don't have the proper climate for statues, and just the elements of the environment were contributing to making it lean. But now it's, I mean, Chris, your Batman Hush has a little bit of lean, and it's, I mean, you keep it temperature controlled down there, right?
Yeah, it's cold. I mean, it's cold in here.
So it's strange.
But again, like it's one of those things where it wears out the bottom peg. So like where the foot pegs in, you can see like when you take it out, or if you move it a bunch of times, it wears away the polystone. So it wears away that peg. So what I think what they could do is if they filled the holes with some sort of metal support inside of the hole,
like a sleeve,
like a sleeve. Yeah. Because right now it's just bare polystone.
Yeah.
I'm sure they could do that easily too. I don't know why they don't.
So I think in pieces that could be questionable, i.e. Talon, those pegs should be filled somehow with something that would help stabilize that so it doesn't wear and warp the polystone itself.
That's exactly what's happening. It's warping.
But there's no question. And some of the hushes look great. I think Dan, yours stands up straight.
Fine. Yeah, he's fine.
But I've seen numerous collectors that have the same problem as I do. There was also the lean, if you remember, with the original Hush. So much that they actually came up with a pillar.
Yeah, separate piece.
Superman Hush. A lot of them are leaning.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I have seen some photos as well too.
Yeah.
Are there any problems with Detective 1000?
I have not had any, and I don't foresee any because the cape is not polystone. The way the feet are positioned, they're stable, they're flat-footed, and the cape is light. He is not nearly as heavy, as the Hush is. The Hush cape is really heavy.
Yeah,
really heavy.
Even Batman. Was that Dan?
Yeah, didn't you posted something not too long ago about how straight up and down the 1000 was or not?
Yeah, I noticed in some pictures he looked a little crooked in collectors' photos, so I don't know what's happening there.
I don't know. Mine's fine. After you posted that, I took a real hard look at mine, and I actually took like a ruler and just kind of put it there. I'm like, are my eyes tricking me or not? And he's perfectly straight.
Mine is fine too. It was only like one or two that I seen that it just looked a little crooked for some reason. I don't know why. And it wasn't like the photo, because if you looked at like the base, like I drew the line for you guys, if you followed like the window and the emblem and like centered everything else looked fine. But then like Batman had like a slight lean to him. And these are statues that just came in, not like something that happened over time. So not sure why they're arriving like that. Maybe when the waist keys in, it's not sitting properly for some people. That's the only thing I could think of.
Yeah, maybe.
Because the waist keys into the legs. So could be an issue there or something. I don't know.
Thomas says some of these statue companies need to have an engineer on staff to quality check the integrity of their statues. I would imagine that they do some of that. But the problem is, and the problem is like you can't test something for 5 years. You can't see if it's going to eventually lean or the silicone's eventually going to wear away. Like these are just risks that you have to take as a collector. And unfortunately, these things happen. I mean, I don't think Prime One's ever like, we're going to make this thing lean. I mean, that's not their intention, but
I think they do keep an eye on
they just don't know what's going to happen.
Like these statues, like when they go through prototype phase, they're like years ahead before we even see it. So I'm sure they keep an eye on it to see if there's anything wrong with them. And I'm wondering if that's maybe what happened with Talon, if they were just keeping an eye on him, and that's why it took so long to see if it was going to lean or not.
It could be.
Maybe it did lean and they had to go back and do something. I don't know.
It could be. And again, I'm optimistic because there's nothing. I just don't feel like there's a ton of weight pushing down on him. Like I feel like gravity is where his leg is
He's pretty heavy. Did he just freeze?
Yeah, she just froze.
All right. Well, Talon is one heavy sucker as far as the
Really?
body goes.
That's funny. It doesn't look like that.
He
at
is
all.
heavy. Like
Yeah.
like if you look at like say like Detective 1000 Batman, he's like, you know, he's pretty light, for a 1/3. Talon on the other hand, he feels like he's rock solid. Like he feels like he's a good 15-20 pounds just on the body, which is, like I said, surprising.
I'm trying to think of some of the more dynamic sideshow statues. You know, like the Rogue that they did where she's out over the danger room. You know,
Yeah.
stuff.
Yep.
You'd think, I have never heard of any issues with that. I know they've done a couple of Spider-Man statues that are highly leveraged with pegs and that kind of stuff, and I can't remember any leaning it. Have there been any sideshow issues around that?
I can
No,
tell you.
Spider-Man. I've got the Spider-Man where his hand is on the girder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to have
And he's completely horizontal above that. No problem at all.
They actually showed
There you go.
behind the scenes on that one. So that one, the peg runs up his arm and actually into his shoulder, like into
Yeah,
his
there you
chest.
go.
It curves into his chest and down his arm.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
and
that's one-
on Rogue, where her hand connects,
Yep.
it's actually metal.
Yes, and it's
Really?
it's hard to get it in the peg, and it's solid.
They
She's
were
not-
super.
I don't think I could actually take her apart, to be honest. Like, I'm
Wow.
afraid I'll break her hand trying to take her apart.
They were super transparent about that one when it went up for pre-order. How they were making it work.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
It's cool. It's well done.
I'm an electrical engineer and I work for Prime One. Well, that's pretty awesome. Give us more. Give us more. Tell us about Prime One. We'd like to hear it.
Is Talon gonna lean?
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
right.
is Talon gonna lean? I mean, I think maybe Eric, you're right. That maybe that's why it took longer. I know that they had factory issues, obviously, during
Or
COVID. but-
going back to like what I was telling Dan when you froze, like he is so heavy. Maybe they just made him so solid that there is going to be no shifting at all. He's so solid that it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Thank you, Paula. I appreciate that. Yeah, California's treating me well. I'm flying back tomorrow. So, yep, back amongst my collection.
Hey guys, thank you so very much for watching today, and if you're new here, please hit the subscribe button right here on the screen and check out these two awesome videos. I think you're going to love them. And also please join us on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I would love to have you join in all the fun. Thank you guys so very much for watching. See you in the Batcave.